You know, when you hear a couple of good spots, you know, some of the best spots in the country to hunt, you know, you usually hear of Pike County and Buffalo County. I've lived in Wisconsin for over 15 years and just really have never made it to Buffalo County. I've spent more time hunting around other states and around home in the UP of Michigan. So when we got an invitation and an opportunity to go hunt Buffalo County and hunt with Jared of Rutting Ridge Outfitters, I was really looking forward to it, you know, because you hear so much about it. And sometimes the hype is more than what you experience, but I know there's big bucks there. You see them all the time. And so to get an opportunity to go in there and hunt, I was really looking forward to going there this year. You know, the first day, you know, Cody and I took off from Wisconsin, you know, my home. It was only about a 3-hour drive. You know, we timed it so we would get there about noon. We had an opportunity to get into camp, visit with Jared. You know, he went over some camp stuff. He talked about the terrain, what we could expect for a couple of days. And, you know, so we were able to get there early enough so that we can get out and hunt that first afternoon. And so by the time we got things settled in, I got the bow out, got to make sure everything was sighted in. You know, we were able to head out and hunt that first evening.
Well, it's Halloween night and we're here in Buffalo County with Rutting Ridge Outfitters. And it's actually a night of first for me. It's a first night in Buffalo County ever, and hopefully it'll be a night of shoot my first buck in Buffalo County.
The first evening that Jared took us out, you know, it was a really nice stand. We had a huge oak tree, we had a big draw out in front of us, and a very nice setup. You know, I really liked it a lot. You know, we were right on this ridge line, and the deer tended to it looks like the trails kind of were cutting across and coming up the ridges. And that first night it was a little bit slower. You know, the weather was kind of changing. We were going through a changing pattern. You know, we saw a couple of does that evening, but we knew that, you know, as the weather started getting a little cooler during the week, that we're probably going to see more deer as it went along.
Brunton's Livin the Hunt TV is brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Rage Slip Cam Broadheads. Matthews Solo Cam. Catch us if you can. Block Fusion. Christian Outdoor Alliance. Dead Downwind, Live Downstream. Rack 1 Whitetail Systems, Serious Science. And by Brunton.
It's the second evening, and you know, so Jared's taking us to a different farm, and it's a really nice setup. You know, again, it's Buffalo County, a lot of draws, a lot of ravines, and we're in this bowl. Sit down in this bowl, and there's a field a little bit above us, and it was a really nice setup. And these deer moved through this draw and this bowl, just cutting the corners of these fields.
Oh man, looks like he's just about a 2-year-old. Man, I tell you what, that doesn't get your heart started, I tell you. The rut's kind of kicking in like this. Does start running and bucks are chasing. Man, that's what you like to see.
You know, once they moved off a little bit, it was pretty much for the most part quiet that evening. And so once it got dark, we kind of slipped out of the stand and met up with Jared and got a plan for the next day. So I hunted the first full day, and when we got down from that evening, that we made the decision that, you know, Cody would hunt the next morning. And again, it's really not about, for us, who kills the deer, who shoots the deer, who's hunting. It's just the fact of being out there and we're all hunting and we're doing what we love to do the most.
Well, here we are,
course, my first morning in Rutting Ridge, Buffalo County. It's actually my debut of the Midwest. I'm from the South, so we don't get to hunt big bucks and these draws and stuff. So it's pretty interesting. I've seen plenty of Midwest hunts for the last 5 or 6 years behind the camera, but I've actually never got to do it. This is it's exciting. I actually got a little nerve twisting in my stomach, so that's always a good thing.
Probably 30 or 40 minutes go by. I mean, we'd already seen 4 or 5 bucks about 8 o'clock. So I had to look over to the left, you hear some leaves, and I just see horns. And I'm thinking it's the same deer that just walked off. I was like, Shane, we got a buck over here. And then I look, and it was shooter. I mean, you look at it a second time, and you know, this is definitely one you don't pass. So he's coming, and it's right between 30 and 40, and I'm hoping he angles a little closer. But of course, he turns just like all mature deer do. He turns and walks up this hill.
It's like he knew.
I get the rattling antlers and I start clanking them together. Not too loud because it's so wide open. He's on this hill, he's gonna look down. I don't want it to be, you know, just crazy loud. So I just hit them together a little bit, and the small buck that come underneath our stand flies in from the left. And we're sitting there and we're looking at this deer and we're trying to look up and see this deer. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking, and here he starts slipping down.
I just seen a tail flicker up there. It might be that buck. Come this way. Next opening. Missed. A miss.
The amazing thing was that arrow got all the way to him before he even jumped the string. I thought he would have been turning inside out, you know, by the time I pulled the release. But that was a big deer. I mean, that was the biggest deer by so many inches that I've ever had an opportunity at with a bow.
That's sweet, man. That's sweet. Do they call that bittersweet?
You get wrapped up into that moment. Here's a shooter buck. It's exciting, your heart's racing, you get drawn back, and I've done it numerous times, and you don't even know if you have the right pin on or not. You squeeze off, it happens so fast, you don't know what happened, and the only thing you can do is look at yourself and say, I blew it.
Stand this morning after Cody's debut yesterday, and he gave it a valiant effort. He tried, he really did. I guess you can't knock him for that. Hopefully we can do a little bit better this morning.
And we wrapped up that morning hunt on the 3rd day, and we knew that we had to head back. Mike was flying in from Florida, and we had several hunts on the schedule, you know, coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're trying to get everything coordinated. You know, Jared, you know, we talked to Jared, and he invited us to come back, you know, later that week, because it was just a lot of things were happening, and he really wanted to see us get a deer on the ground.
3 days later, you know, Trevor and I are heading back. He gets off school and we're heading back to Wisconsin. It's only about a 4 or 5 hour drive. Shane was heading to Iowa, and You know, we were so close, we just figured we'd go back there and try to get it done, spend a couple more days there. Well, we got in late that night, probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, and Jared said, come on to the house. He was still up, and I get there, and he's showing me the map, and it's pretty close to where Shane hunted the first morning. He looked at me and said, if I put you on a deer, please hit it this time. Well, as the sun's coming up, day's breaking, we're sitting in the stand, and there's a little tiny water hole, a little man-made water hole down there for the deer up on this ridge, and it's pretty steep. I mean, you're looking way up, and also way down, and there's corn. So I hear something, and you see a big body. I couldn't see antlers, so it was big body. Let's just assume it's a buck. I reach over, you know, grab the grunt tube and grunt a couple times. Look back, and he stopped, and we watched it a little more, and before you know it, I grunted again, and it triggered him, and he starts running down this hill. Immediately I'm grabbing the bow, and he starts getting in. I'm looking, and then I just see rack and definite shooter.
If he stays on this path, I'm gonna get him on the other side of the street. All right, I got a drone. All right, you ready on the other side of the street? Do it. Right here, my friend. Cody, my man. First morning redemption. Holy cow, Rutting Ridge. They have got him. Holy cow. That deer was up on the ridge. I had to grunt call a couple times, and let me tell you, that's what I'm talking about, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Once you see the arrow fly, you don't really know what's going to happen. You know, you can double lung one and it run forever, or you know, you can kind of hit one bad and it fall in sight. So, but when this deer started staggering within 2 or 3 steps, I mean, the rage did the trick. I mean, their slogans put him down, and he falls within 30 yards. So, I mean, that's just an awesome feeling.
You can't get deer like that in Florida. There's no doubt. Wow. That's perfect. That's a beautiful deer. My biggest by a long shot, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem.
I'm telling you what, you want to talk about someone pumped up. You should have seen me in that stand.
You know, during this 5 weeks of the Midwest hunt, we had people bouncing everywhere, and I'd shot a deer and I had one down, but that just meant it was faster for me to get back behind the camera, because we thanked Jared and took pictures and just had an awesome time, and it was off to Missouri.
You know, when we originally talked to Jared, and you know, we had all these hunts scheduled, you know, one of the agreements we had is that we would come back and hunt with him during the opener of Wisconsin's rifle season. You know, a couple of weeks later, after we were bow hunting, you know, we just left Illinois and we made a long trek, you know, back up to Wisconsin. We drove all day, and we get in that night, and what was really exciting is that Austin knew that we were coming back to hunt during rifle season, but what he didn't know is that he was going to be hunting and we were going to be filming him. Just a look on his face, you know, to see a 12-year-old now. I mean, not only is it his first season hunting, but now he's going to have a camera crew or a cameraman over his shoulder filming this. So here we are, it's opening morning, and what really hit me is that not only am I filming a 12-year-old boy hunting for his first season, but Jared is there with him. And so I'm sort of behind the scenes capturing this relationship unfolding right in front of me. You know, we got Jared there with his son hunting his first time, and I could just see the pride in Jared at that time, and it was just, you know, it was really inspiring to see that, because I've been through that already with Trevor, and it was just really, you know, you really can't put words to what I was feeling and seeing unfold right in front of me. You know, we heard some gunshots going off in the distance, but it was really foggy. The deer movement was a little bit slower, but just like it always does, it seems like it goes from nothing to something in a hurry.
Oh yeah, there's two of them. Okay, I got it. What? I got it.
Before we know it, here's a buck right below us, and he's chasing the doe around. And, you know, I'm getting spun around on the tree stand to get the camera on. We're trying to get everything coordinated. And it's there, I mean, it's happening. And I'm watching all this take place, and it was, what happened next was, just like it happened with Cody, it was heartbreak all over again. You know, this buck comes in and provides just a great opportunity. Austin takes the shot, and I could see this, it happened. You know, there's this one tree, it really looked like the only larger tree in front of the vitals of this deer, and it just happened to be the tree that he hit. And I could just see the bark fly when he hit.
I told you. Okay, it is. I see the shot.
And I turned around to get the reaction, and I remember Jared looking up at me and saying, you know, did he hit it? Did he hit it? And I had to tell him. That was difficult to say no. You know, he hit a tree. And to watch him to go from the super high and just his expression drop, that was tough. And you know, what happened next is, it's hard to explain. You know, I'm sitting there, Austin realized he missed this buck, and it's a huge buck, and he starts crying. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's times that, you know, I've had tears in my eyes I've missed, and there's times when I was younger I've cried. I want to cry most of the times when I miss, but he missed, it's his first year hunting, and he misses this buck, and now he's crying. And watching his dad have to console him, it was just, and being a father myself and going through that with Trevor, that was very tough and difficult. And the only thing I could really do at that point is really try to encourage Austin and say, hey, you know what, it's okay. You know, we all miss. And we just tried to get him fired back up again. And it took a little bit. He did, and he got right back in the hunt. You know, he got his courage back up, he got fired back up, and he was ready to sit the rest of the day. You know, we've just ended, you know, just a phenomenal 2 weeks in Buffalo County. You know, Cody's taken a really nice buck with his bow. You know, I got an opportunity to film Austin on his very first rifle hunt, and I feel honored that Jared would just allow us to be there and to share that with them. It's really encouraging to see how the Lord just really opens up these opportunities to you, because it was truly a blessing, and we didn't even know it, because you know, we got to meet up with Jared, and just a phenomenal guy. And not that all outfitters don't work hard, but Jared, you know, has a small operation, and he's doing what he loves doing. He's guiding with deer hunting, and it was just to get to know Jared and ultimately become a super friend. If you're looking for a place like this, I strongly encourage you to give Jared a call. And Jared, we really appreciate everything you did for us. We appreciate the hospitality, and we're really looking forward to coming back and spending some time with you next year.
Brunton's Living the Hunt TV has been brought to you by Mossy Oak. It's not a passion, it's an obsession. Rage Slip Cam Broadheads. Matthews Solo Cam. Catch us if you can. Block Fusion. Christian Outdoor Alliance. Dead Downwind, Live Downstream. Rack 1 Whitetail Systems, Serious Science. and by Brunton.